You've cut carbs, you've counted every calorie, you've pushed yourself through exhausting workouts, sweating, struggling, doing everything you were told should work. And yet, that stubborn belly fat doesn't move. In fact, sometimes it looks worse. Softer, puffier, more inflamed. And the most frustrating part? Deep down, you start to wonder if it's your fault. Maybe you're not disciplined enough. Maybe you didn't try hard enough. Maybe you just need to eat less and move more. But what if that belief is completely wrong? What if the problem isn't your effort, but the system you've been following? Because here's the truth most people never hear. Fat loss is not just about calories. And your body is not a simple math equation. You can be in a calorie deficit and still not lose fat. You can eat clean and still store fat. You can exercise every day and still feel stuck. Why? Because there is a hidden signal inside your body that overrides everything. A signal that tells your body, do not burn fat, store it. That signal is cortisol. Cortisol is known as the stress hormone, but its role goes much deeper than most people realize. It doesn't just affect how you feel, it directly controls how your body stores and uses energy. When cortisol is elevated, your body shifts into survival mode. And in that state, your priority is not burning fat, it's protecting it, especially around your belly. So while you think you're making progress, your body is fighting back. Not because it's broken, but because it's trying to protect you. And until you understand this, you're not fighting fat, you're fighting your own biology. To understand why belly fat is so stubborn, you need to look at what makes it different from other types of fat. Not all fat in your body behaves the same. The fat around your arms or legs is relatively passive. It stores energy, but it doesn't react strongly to stress. Belly fat, especially visceral fat, is completely different. It is highly active. And more importantly, it is extremely sensitive to cortisol. This is because visceral fat contains a much higher number of cortisol receptors. Think of these receptors like tiny antennas. Their job is to pick up signals from stress hormones circulating in your body. Now, imagine this. While other parts of your body receive a weak stress signal, your belly fat amplifies it. It listens more closely. It reacts more aggressively. So when cortisol levels rise even slightly, your belly fat responds as if there is a serious threat. Why would your body do this? Because from a biological perspective, belly fat is your emergency reserve. It sits close to your vital organs, making it the fastest and most efficient energy source in times of danger. So when your body senses stress, it doesn't try to get rid of that fat. It protects it. Even worse, it may actually store more of it. This is why people under constant stress often notice fat accumulating specifically around their midsection, even if the rest of their body doesn't change much. It's not random. It's a targeted response. Your body is prioritizing survival, and your belly becomes the storage center for that survival energy. Until this signal changes, your body won't let that fat go easily. Because in its eyes, it's not extra weight. It's protection. Now here's where things become even more dangerous. Because this isn't just a one-time reaction. It becomes a self-sustaining loop. It starts with stress. You have a bad night of sleep, work pressure builds up, you push your body harder with diet or exercise, cortisol rises as a natural response. That's step one. Next, your body reacts by storing more fat, especially around your belly, where cortisol signals are strongest. That's step two. But it doesn't stop there. As this visceral fat grows, it begins to release its own inflammatory signals into your body. These signals create internal stress, something your brain interprets as another threat. That's step three. And what does your body do in response to that threat? It produces even more cortisol. Now you're back at the beginning, but at a higher level. More stress, more fat storage, more inflammation, and then even more stress again. This is the loop, a cycle that feeds itself. You're not just gaining fat, You're reinforcing the conditions that make fat gain easier. And the longer this cycle continues, the harder it becomes to break. Because at that point, it's no longer about willpower. It's about biology running on autopilot. Here's where the biology becomes even more surprising. You might think that if you stop eating, especially carbs, your blood sugar will automatically stay low. But that's not always true, because your body has a backup system. It can actually create its own sugar. This process is called gluconeogenesis, which literally means making new glucose. And the trigger for this process is not food, it's stress. When cortisol rises, your body receives a signal. We need energy now, even if you haven't eaten for hours. So your liver steps in and begins converting amino acids and other resources into glucose, releasing it into your bloodstream. From your body's perspective, this is survival. But here's the problem. That newly created sugar still needs to be managed. So your pancreas releases insulin to control it. And as long as insulin is present, even at moderate levels, your body cannot effectively burn fat. So now you're in a strange situation. You're not eating, but your blood sugar is still rising. Your insulin is still active, and your fat stores remain locked. This is why some people fast, eat clean, and still struggle to lose weight. Because the issue isn't just food. It's the internal signals controlling how your body uses energy. One of the most common mistakes people make is relying on long, steady cardio to lose fat. Running for an hour. Spending endless time on the treadmill. Pushing through fatigue, thinking more effort equals better results. But your body doesn't see it that way. To your biology, prolonged cardio, especially at moderate intensity, looks like a long-duration stress event. Almost like you're running from something without rest. And in response, your body raises cortisol to keep you going. At first, this seems helpful, but when it happens day after day, cortisol stays elevated. And that changes everything. Instead of burning fat efficiently, your body begins to break down muscle to create energy. Muscle is metabolically active, it helps you burn calories even at rest. Losing it slows your metabolism. At the same time, that elevated cortisol signals your body to store fat, especially around your belly. So you end up in a frustrating situation. You're exercising more, but burning less, your body becomes smaller, but softer, lighter, but not leaner. Because you're not just losing fat, you're losing the very tissue that helps you burn it. And as long as this stress signal continues, your body will resist letting go of that stubborn belly fat. Fasting can be a powerful tool, but when done under the wrong conditions, it can backfire. This is where many people make a critical mistake. They combine fasting with high stress, they sleep poorly, deal with constant pressure, push their bodies hard, and then extend their fasting window even longer, believing it will speed up fat loss. But your body doesn't interpret this as discipline. It interprets it as danger. When you fast in a stressed state, cortisol rises even higher. And instead of lowering insulin and unlocking fat burning, your body shifts into survival mode. In that state, it becomes extremely protective. It slows down your metabolism. It reduces energy output. And most importantly, it holds on to fat. Because to your body, that fat is not extra weight. It's a safety reserve. A backup fuel source in case things get worse. So instead of burning fat, your body does the opposite. It preserves it. This is why some people fast for long hours, eat very little, and still don't see results. They feel tired, cold, drained, because their body is not in a fat-burning state. It's in a stress response. And until that stress signal is reduced, fasting will not work the way it's supposed to. There's one warning sign that many people overlook, but it may be one of the strongest indicators that your metabolism is under stress. Waking up suddenly at 2 or 3 a.m. Not just lightly awake, but fully alert. Your mind starts racing, your body feels tense, and falling back asleep becomes difficult. This is not just poor sleep. It's a stress response happening in real time. During the night, your blood sugar naturally drops. But if your system is already unstable or under stress, that drop can happen too quickly. Your brain senses this as a threat. It thinks you're running out of fuel, so it activates an emergency response. Your body releases adrenaline and cortisol to force your liver to release glucose into the bloodstream. That surge is what wakes you up. In other words, your body is pushing you into a fight or flight state in the middle of the night. And this has serious consequences, because the deepest stages of sleep are when your body releases growth hormone, HGH, a key hormone for fat burning, muscle repair, and recovery. When your sleep is disrupted, that release is reduced. So instead of recovering overnight, your body stays in a stressed, high cortisol state. And that makes fat loss even harder the next day. This is why fixing your sleep is not optional. It's essential. At this point, you might be thinking, if it's not about eating less or training harder, then what actually works? The answer is surprisingly simple but completely different from what most people believe. Fat loss is not about forcing your body to burn fat. It's about making your body feel safe enough to release it. Because when your body is under stress, everything changes. It doesn't care about your goals. It doesn't care about your calorie deficit. It only cares about survival. And in survival mode, fat is protection. So the real solution is not more restriction, not more punishment, but a shift in signals. You need to show your body that the threat is over, that there is enough food, enough recovery, enough stability. When those signals are present, your body begins to relax. Cortisol levels drop, insulin becomes more stable, and your metabolism shifts out of defense mode. This is where fat loss finally becomes possible. Not because you forced it, but because your body is no longer fighting you. This is the mindset shift most people miss. You're not trying to burn fat. You're trying to remove the reason your body is holding on to it. And once that reason disappears, the process becomes much easier. Because your body already knows what to do, it just needed the right environment to do it. Now let's turn this into something you can actually apply. Because once you understand the principle sending safety signals, the next step is using simple actions to reinforce it. The first is walking after meals. Not intense exercise, not cardio sessions, just a 10-to-1 5-minute walk. When you walk after eating, your muscles begin contracting, and this allows them to pull glucose directly out of your bloodstream without needing large amounts of insulin. This keeps your blood sugar stable, reduces stress on your system, and prevents fat storage signals from being triggered. Simple, but incredibly effective. Next is something that may sound counterintuitive. A small amount of honey with a pinch of salt before bed. If you tend to wake up at 2-3 a.m., this can help stabilize your blood sugar overnight. The honey provides a slow release of energy for your liver, while the salt helps regulate your nervous system. Together, they prevent the cortisol spike that disrupts your sleep. Better sleep means more growth hormone, and more growth hormone means better fat burning and recovery. Then comes short bursts of high-intensity sprinting. Not long workouts, just brief, powerful efforts once or twice a week. This type of movement signals your body to build muscle and release hormones like HGH, which directly counteract cortisol. You get the benefit without the stress overload. And finally, protein. This is essential. When you eat, your body needs to feel abundance, not restriction. Adequate protein intake signals that it's safe to maintain muscle, repair tissue, and release stored fat. Without enough protein, your body stays cautious. With it, your body becomes more confident in letting go. None of these strategies are extreme, but together, they send a powerful message. You are safe. And when your body believes that, everything begins to change.